Hello and welcome to the Mic'd Up podcast. My name is Kaya. I am an author, a poet, an entrepreneur, and a podcaster. And today I am really excited about the guest we have on today. I have the author of the crime thriller, Show You No Mercy, Miss Kimberly Powell. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate it. We are going to talk all things Show You No Mercy. We're going to get into your Q&A and we're going to have a book discussion. So let's dig right in. You ready?
Yes.
All right. So your bio reads, Kimberly Powell, a talented author with a passion for storytelling, was born in the vibrant city of Brooklyn, New York. Her journey into the world of literature began at a young age as she poured her emotions into crafting captivating stories and heartfelt songs. Graduating from CUNY York College in June 2017 with a bachelor's degree in social work, Kimberly's deep understanding of human nature and empathy shines through in her writing. She further honed her skills and knowledge, earning a master's in social work in 2018, and currently puts her compassion to work as a dedicated social worker. Inspired by her love for thriller and urban fiction tales, Kimberly is drawn to the intricate storytelling and dynamic characters that bring these genres to life. Now she embarks on her own writing journey, weaving gripping narratives that thrill and captivate readers. Very nice. Now you are in Brooklyn, New York. And I know we talked before, but did I tell you I'm from Jersey? Did I tell you that?
I think you did. I don't try my memory.
Okay, I think I did. I think it's coming back to me now. Okay. So we neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, in my brain, I'm in Virginia now, but we still neighbors. Okay. So let's get right into your Q&A. So the first question I have is, in your bio, it says you say you write short stories, and you say you got into it at a young age. When did you first fall in love with it? Around what age were you when that happened?
I would say probably 5th grade. Yeah, so I used to just write like little short stories, like make believe and once upon a time kind of stories. Like I still have those stories till this day. I might just put them into a book. I might. When I could go back and look at it, I'm like, I could make this into something.
Wow, you think like a children's book, or you can like make it into like a adult?
Make it into a thriller, an adult thriller. Yes, I can.
You were writing like that in the 5th grade?
So they were more so. Damn, yeah. When you say it like that, I really would. When you say it, yeah, I was definitely writing like thriller related. But maybe at the time I didn't realize that was like thriller, what I was writing. I was just like making up random stories. So yeah, I could definitely turn it into something. If I go back and look at them, because I have like a few that I could go back and like, okay, I could actually turn this into a longer story.
Now, did you let anybody read it back then, or is this something you kept to yourself?
The only person that read it was my mom. Like, okay. I would just like write it, and I would put it, like I would staple it after I wrote it, and I'm like, you just read this, I just wrote this story.
Right.
So yeah, just my mom.
What was her reaction? Did she encourage you to keep writing? Was she impressed that you had such a voice at a young age?
So she definitely encouraged me to keep writing, because it was an outlet for me because my mother was very strict. She's Jamaican, so she was like, you ain't going outside, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. So writing was definitely an outlet, and she encouraged me to continue doing it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. When did you know? Now, you said that was around the 5th grade. Mm-hmm. When did you know it was time for you to start taking writing seriously, that you wanted to actually write a book and publish it?
So that was when the pandemic hit, and I was home. Obviously I was working from home,
right?
But I had a lot more time, more idle time. So that's when I first joined Book Talk. And I was just looking at what other people were doing. And I was like, I could do this. So then one day I sat down and I kind of just came up with this random story. about a girl who had a troubled past and became this big time detective, and now that somebody came back to get her for what she did. So during that pandemic, I wrote that book. It wasn't until the 2021, like a year later, where I finished it, and I was like, okay, now I need to look into how I'm going to publish this, because I really wanted to. At first, I did think about like Wattpad and all of those things, but I feel like no, I wanted this story to be wider, like a broader scale. So I was like, let me post stuff on TikTok and try to see like who's interested in this kind of book. And I definitely got a lot of readers who enjoyed crime thriller. Or just thriller overall. So it was definitely during the pandemic, because I was like had so much idle time.
All right. Now, when you were writing it during the pandemic, did you find that the story just flowed, or because it was like your first time? I'm assuming it was your first time writing long form. Did you like question the formatting, or should you write this or that, or it just kind of flowed out of you?
So I definitely questioned a lot, because I just wasn't quite sure. Because I like I said, I had written like short stories like when I was a child, when I was in high school, but on this scale, to actually write a book and complete it and publish it and all of that, so I questioned everything because I just wasn't sure. So I just did a lot of research. I found different editors. Before I even found the editor, I was just like, okay, what is the editing process?
Right.
So I searched that up and see, okay, because all of this is money, child. So I'm like, let me look up what I would need to really push this book out.
Right.
So I really just did my research because I just wasn't sure.
Right. Now, when I believe you worked with Chloe Kane, correct?
Yes.
I actually just had her on the podcast last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's awesome. Yes. By the time this podcast is out, hers will be out as well. She seems like a really awesome person.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah. My question is, so when you did start going through the editing process with her, were there a lot of technical things that were pointed out that you had to change because it was like your first time, or?
So yeah, definitely there were like some characters that was not necessary that I thought was. So, and of course, because I was new to all of this, I wanted to gain as much knowledge about what is important for this book and what's not important. So I definitely think when I worked with Chloe, it definitely gave me guidance as to where I should go, especially within the series, with the other two books, because being somebody that's new into this writing industry, I want to make sure that I listen.
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those people where I'm like, no, this has to stay. This is what I want. Blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm like, this got to stay.
Right.
And there's also times where I'm like, okay, I understand why this needs to be removed, because it definitely helped me grow as a writer when I listen.
Okay. Yeah, when I did the podcast with her, she said that her main goal is to make sure that the author grows within the process, and it sounds like she was able to help you do that while writing your book. So that's great. Great. Hopefully once I can finish a project, I told her, I was like, once I finish a project, I'm gonna hit you up. So that's good.
Yeah.
My next question is, in your bio you say you have a love for thriller and urban fiction tales. How were those genres introduced to you? Was it something like you were reading early on, or is movies that you watched? Like, how did you get into it?
So I was first introduced to urban fiction when I was like around 14, 15. A friend of mine gave me, well, not a friend, she was an adult. But she gave me The Coldest Winter Ever. And at the time, my mother took the book from me because she was like, you can't read this. You're too young to read this book. So eventually I ended up finding it, and I did finish it. So, and that was what really introduced me into urban fiction. And I love that book. Like that is, I would recommend that book to anybody. As far as like thriller goes, I watched a lot of thriller movies. A lot of fighting, a lot of whodunit, a lot of, murders. I love stories like that.
What are some? Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, what are some of your favorite thriller movies?
Favorite thriller movies. No Good. Is it No Good Deed? It's with Taraji P. Henson and Idris Elba. Is it No Good?
Yes.
It's No Good Deed, right?
I think it's called No Good Deed, but I know what you're talking about when he's crazy.
Yes. I love Taraji and Idris overall as actors.
Yeah.
But I love that movie. Many of the Lifetime movies are like thrillers. I love me a good Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm talking about the older Lifetime.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like the best ones ever. And especially because they always had like a lesson behind it. I don't remember the name of this movie, but it was about a girl. She met this guy she was in high school and he started abusing her and she didn't tell anybody. I cannot remember the name of that, but I think Tori Spelling was in it.
Okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I know which one you're talking about. They had a few of those. I know they did one with the girl from Full House. They did one like that, and Fred Savage. Yeah, so yeah.
So like Lifetime movie is definitely what made me love thrillers the most. It was really like, their movies are great. Even now, it's getting better.
Yeah, their movies are getting a lot better.
So much better.
Yeah.
And a lot of Black representation is what I really like about them now.
Yes, I can agree with you on that. Especially, I've noticed within the last few years, with Lifetime around the holidays, there are a lot more Black holiday movies on Lifetime. So yeah, Lifetime is
they stepping up.
They have stepped up. And you mentioned Black representation. So do you feel like thrillers are underrepresented with Black characters?
Absolutely. And then when they do put a Black character in it, they the first ones to die. Like it's like, damn, give them a chance. We some fighters out here, okay? We can fight.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that the representation of Black people now is being shown so much more, and it's like amazing because many of these actors are like not just dramatic actors, not just comedy. Like it's a little scary out there, okay? Like they can do that, and I love seeing that. And that's what I want to represent in the future books that I write. Like all of my characters gonna be Black, regardless. Okay?
I understand.
Always. So yeah, I definitely think that Black actors are definitely underrepresented when it. Am I saying this properly? Like
underrepresented when it comes to thrillers for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do feel like it's expanding, and I do feel like it is trickling down into the Black literary community as well. So there's space for everybody, every genre, like So and
that's like why I really love Tubi so much, because it's all about the African American people. Okay.
Now,
Tubi be hitting, okay? I swear.
You have to tell me some good Tubi movies, because the ones they show online, the clip, I know they pick the worst of the worst. I know that, but they be really, really bad.
Yeah,
like some of that stuff is just like, nah, you can't even be serious. But yeah, put me onto some good Tubi movies. I'm not opposed to watching it. Yeah, you gotta get it.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of them that's actually decent. Now, the acting may not be like A1, but it's decent enough that you could get through the whole movie. Yes. Not those ones that be posting online. I don't watch those.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think makes a good thriller? When you're writing your story or crafting your characters, what elements to you do you think will grasp a reader and like draw them into your story?
Oh, I definitely believe revenge is number one on my list. It's always gonna be number one, because everybody loves a revenge story. Like everybody loves. I'm gonna get this person back for what they did to me. I'm gonna forgive them later, but I'm gonna get them back right now. You know. So I definitely think revenge. Of course, somebody getting killed. You got to figure out who did it.
Right.
Suspense. It's just more so of what's gonna happen next. Like, when I'm reading a thriller, I need to have some level of anxiety, because I don't know what's about to happen.
Yes, and I definitely had a level of anxiety with with your book, Show You No Mercy, because I'm like, well, we'll get into the book discussion. I'm like, they're gonna do something to these kids. Like I was like, please don't let them do nothing to these kids. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now my next question is, are there any other genres of writing that you think you would like to step into besides thrillers?
Yes. So I love science fiction. I love science fiction books, science fiction movies, even though these books be so long. But I love them. They're so interesting. And I just love how some writers and how they like really take the time to describe, this, what can I say? This like the city or like
the world that they build.
The world building, yes. Like I love how descriptive it is, and I want to be able to do that. So that's something that I'm also trying to like learn. I'm trying to read more science fiction books and do like workshops within science fiction because I love it. Like I already have a story in mind, but it's definitely not coming out no time soon because I really want to make sure I do my due diligence with the research and properly write this book the way that it should be written. I also am interested in romance a little bit, but of course it's gonna add a little bit of suspense in it. But I do like
yeah, you gotta do dark romance. That's all. Just do dark romance.
I definitely do want to transition into science fiction and like you said, dark romance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Since publishing your first book, well, how many books do you have out right now?
3.
Since publishing your first book, how do you feel you have grown as a writer going into current or future projects? How do you think you've grown?
Okay, so I've grown just based off of how I write my books. Because when I wrote the first one, I always felt like I have to write like an urban fiction style. Like that's the style that I need to write because that's the books that I've read and, that's what I see everybody else doing. And while I was writing, book 1 and then transitioning into writing book 2, I realized that I can write my urban fiction, but it doesn't have to sound urban fiction, if you know what I mean. Like, with all the extra cussing and all of that stuff.
Right.
Like, of course, in book 1, it definitely had a lot of like cussing because I thought that, okay, this is how I'm supposed to write it.
Right.
And, of course, after the book came out, after I read different reviews and, got different advice and stuff from people, I'm like, okay, I don't have to write like this. I can write differently and still like get my point across into that urban fiction genre or, of course, into the thriller genre. So I feel like after I wrote that first book, I'm like, okay, this is how I want to write. Once I wrote book 2, I was like, yeah, this is how I want to write. All the rest of my books that I ever read. Like, this is, it doesn't have to necessarily be like a whole bunch of slang, a whole bunch of thing. Like, I can still get the reader's attention without all that extra stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love me a good little ghetto book, but
right. But it sounds like you were able to find your voice in that second book. And I feel like you are a representative of the best type of writer that understands that you have to learn from, what you've already written and be willing to listen and apply and grow and want to be better. So I feel like, that's a great mindset to have. And based on that, I know that each book you do is just going to go up and up and up and up. And the fact that you said that you're taking workshops for the girl, I really appreciate that you're committed to your craft and making sure you're putting out your best. So I feel like that's a really good thing. I feel like it's important to do. And because I always feel like there's something to learn. There's something you can always learn. There's always a way to get better. And like I said, to me, you are a representative of the best type of writer and or best type of learner if you want to get better at something. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So my next question is, what has surprised you the most since being a part of the literary community?
Oh, that's a good question. What surprised me the most is the support that I've received. Not necessarily saying that I didn't think anybody would support me, but more so just I feel like my books are wanted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I feel like, okay, people want me to put out books. Like even with book 3, I definitely got like messages from people like, okay, what's taking so long? Like, are you gonna put this book out or not? So I think more so the support and people actually wanting my books. That's really what surprised me. Like I know that I think that I'm a pretty good writer. Sometimes I may doubt myself, imposter syndrome, all kinds of things happen. And I may feel like, nobody wants to read this.
Right.
Knowing that there is at least one person out there waiting for my book to come.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. I understand that. So the next question I have for you is, what motivates you to keep writing?
Okay. What motivates me to keep writing?
Is it
my family?
Your family?
My family motivates me to keep writing because they are my backbone when it comes to this writing thing. Especially when I first started, sometimes people may not have that support from their family when they're trying something new.
Mm-hmm.
My family stood behind me 10 toes.
Like
it wasn't oh, are you sure you want to do this? It wasn't a why. It was okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
That's
even
awesome.
When it was time to when I asked like my mom and my brother, like just for like their opinion and what they about like the story, the plot line, the storyline and the characters and stuff. We sat down together for like hours making sure, okay, yeah, this is right, this is good. When it was time for the cover to get created, to get made, I showed it to them. I'm like, what you think about this? They were like, okay, yeah, this is good, this will work. So definitely my family motivates me to keep writing because they're always gonna stand behind me no matter what I do. Even if I decide to never write again, they gonna still stand behind me 10 toes. As well as just wanting to see where I can go within the writing industry, keeps me motivated. Just seeing other Black indie authors and how well they're doing, and just wanting to be in the community, And I used to be in this writing group that I actually started when I first started writing in 2021. It was called the Prolific Black Writers. So I love that group because everybody like shared their writing struggle, what books they have coming out next. I'm still in some groups right now, and we share each other's things all the time. So what motivates me the most is just seeing other people win and knowing that, okay, I can do that. Yeah. That's going to be me. Yeah.
So, yeah, you have a really, really great attitude about this industry, and that's great because, as you know, sometimes it could be discouraging, if you're looking at numbers or maybe if you glance at what someone else is doing or something like that. But I feel like you have a really good attitude, and because of that, I think that whatever you choose to do, however long you choose to write, you're going to do great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My next question is, can you give us some insight into your writing process? Are you the type of person that'll sit down and plan a project, or do you they call it a pantser, you just kind of write at the seat of your pants, whatever just comes out, that's what you do?
Mm-hmm. So I am a plotter. Like I have to outline chapter by chapter. Of course, sometimes when I go back to a chapter I'm about to write, I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. Let me just see what I can come up with right now. But I have to outline because if I don't, I'm gonna be lost. I am. Like I can start out just writing whatever, but then I'll get to a certain point where I'm like, what do I write next?
Right.
I just love having something next to me where I can look back on and say, okay, this is what I wanted. And whether I feel like it works with that chapter or that scene or not, I will either put it in or not put it in, and I'll just make up something right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. But I got to outline. Definitely.
Got to outline. Mm-hmm. And I wish I believe I said this to you before, but I wish I could outline, and I've tried so many times. Goodness knows I've tried, but it just does not work out for me. But how long does it take you to do a project? Since you outline it, I'm assuming that it flows pretty quickly, or no?
I mean, you would assume so, but
Yeah.
but obviously, sometimes I do get lazy and I'm not as consistent as I should be. And on top of that, because I work a 9 to 5, sometimes I come home, I be so tired. I'm like, I'll just put it off for the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day comes. I'm like, oh damn, I was supposed to finish this.
Right.
So I definitely try to write in my planner, like, okay, this day I'm gonna finish doing this, and depending on how I feel when I come home, it's gonna get done or it's not. I
Right.
I don't know what's gonna happen that day, to be honest, but I do try my best. I feel like the most time I've spent outlining the book was probably like 3 weeks, and that's just me being inconsistent. If I was consistent, I could do it within a week.
Got it.
And that's something I'm also working on as well, trying to be more consistent with just outlining, writing. That when it comes to writing the book, child, that may take about who knows, maybe 30 days, but it's really just consistent.
30 days is quick,
and that's if I'm consistent.
but that's still quick, girl. That's still quick. How many words we talking? 50, 60, 70? What we talking?
I'm thinking more like 45, 50. I can't.
Okay.
I know that I can do it if I'm consistent.
Right.
I'll be honest, I am not consistent. So, I'm not. So
right.
It just truly depends on the day.
Yeah, and like you said, you work a 9 to 5, and in your bio you said you do social work.
Yes.
I'm sure that is like mentally draining. And at the end of the day, when your brain is done, you're done. Like I would think that writing would be, maybe in your heart you want to do it, but that mind is like, yeah, I need to take it down for the day. So that's understandable. But yeah, I get you. That's understandable. The next question I have for you is, what is the most challenging part of what you do? Is it the consistency, you think?
So the most challenging, definitely trying to be consistent, and also being an indie author, we got to do everything pretty much by ourselves. Yes, I do have help, but then it's like I have to outline, I have to write, I have to do my own editing before I send it to an editor. Then I have to figure out what I want the cover to look like. I have to work with somebody to make that cover. And then it's like, when the editing is done, I got to make sure I go back, read it. It's a lot.
It is a lot. I feel like the process is something that you do. You have to have a passion for it. You have to have a love for it, because it's not just once upon a time and then they live happily ever after and then you hit submit and that's it. There's so much
that goes into it. Because even when you think about writing, like doing an outline and writing these books, it's fiction, but we're creating people. We're creating characters. We're creating these stories as though it was real.
Yes.
So it does take a toll sometimes, because you also have your own things to deal with, and then you got to come and deal with the people that these characters in your head. So yes, it's definitely challenging doing it all.
Yes.
We wear multiple hats.
Yeah. But in the end, I feel like it's worth it.
Yes.
I feel like it's definitely worth it. It is, I call it a labor of love, because it really, really is. Especially when you can just, like I said, hit submit and then watch it just grow and flourish and get the feedback. So
I definitely agree with that, because I did the Harlem Book Fair last week. It was amazing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was so amazing. I got a lot of book sales, and that's, even though it's all the work we got to do, that was worth it.
Was that your first in-person author event?
My first book fair. I did when I put out my first book, I did have a book signing. It was pretty much word of mouth. and I had a lot of people that came to my book signing, but this was my first book fair. So I was kind of nervous because I wasn't sure what to expect, but it went great.
Oh, that sounds really nice. Okay, good. Do you have any events that you're doing in the future coming up?
Not at the moment. More so just more interviews coming up. I am trying to see if I can go to some more book fairs because I really did enjoy it.
Okay, good. Yeah. Now, my next question is, what do you feel has been the highlight of your writing career thus far?
Oh, okay. The highlight thus far. I mean, I guess just like even what I said with the book fair, just like the feedback, the interest that I received. Because like at one point at the book fair, like my table was full, and I'm like trying to talk to this person. I'm like, okay, everybody, you know what? Everybody just listen up. So, I think it was so fulfilling to know that I wrote this book. Even though personally, I struggled sometimes because like the consistency I was mentioning before, but just seeing people actually interested in what I had to say regarding my books, it was like, I can't even explain like how amazing I felt.
I get
that people actually wanted to listen to me. Because, you know, when like I said, because it was my first book fair, I was nervous. I wasn't sure if anybody was going to come to my table. But when I got there, I just became the social butterfly.
Oh, good, yeah. That's how it is. Yes, I'm glad that worked out for you. I'm glad that it went well.
Yeah, so it was fulfilling. It was the best thing that ever happened to me since I've been writing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so my last question I have for you is, what projects do you have coming up? Because you have the 3-book series out.
Mm-hmm.
What is coming up? Can you tell me?
So I do have two books that I'm working on. Well, not writing yet, more so outlining.
Okay.
The first book is, I already have the name for them. The first book is called Say I Do. It's pretty much about a woman whose fiance broke up with her and got engaged to somebody else, and she pretty much lost her mind and just started she just started like bugging out and acting crazy. So that's like, my thriller. And the next thriller that I'm working on is called 9 Nights. It's it's about like the Jamaican culture. And just a quick brief definition of 9 Nights. So 9 Nights was originated in West Africa. It's pretty much when somebody dies on the 9th night, they have like this big celebration, which is the day before the funeral.
Okay.
So they have like a big celebration. Everybody comes together. Everybody chat, play games, listen to music. But sometimes it could be some drama, and it could definitely be some stuff going on within the family that could have caused the death of somebody,
Oh.
So that's something that I'm working on as well. And the reason why I chose to work on that, because as I said before, I am Jamaican, and I want to start using my culture in my and I think that is so important. And I want people to learn about where I come from and, the traditions that we have. Although it was originated in West Africa, many Caribbean countries do it as well. So, so Say I Do and 9 Nights.
Okay, and that's probably what, 2025?
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you for an exact date because I know how it is, but 2025 is good enough. Yeah. All right. So that was the last question I have for you. And we are going to move over to the book discussion. Okay. All right. So now we are at the book discussion portion of the podcast, and we are discussing the book by author Kimberly Powell called Show You No Mercy. Now, Miss Kim, for those who have not read your book and are interested in diving into a thriller, can you give us a synopsis of what the book is about?
Okay, so Show You No Mercy is about a woman who is a detective in the present day, but in her past, she used to dibble and dabble in illegal activities. At the time when she was young, a friend of hers was arrested, and she was the one that did the crime. and she moved on with her life, and that friend went to jail for 15 years. And when he got out, he decided that he was going to get revenge on her, and that he did.
Okay. And yeah, so that sums up the book pretty much. And it's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of plot twists, a lot of unexpected things happen in this book. I will say that it kept me on the edge of my seat a couple times. I'm like, something's going to happen, because I'm the type of person, like, I don't do thrillers that well because anxiety will have me turning stuff off. I'm like, click. Like, that's just how I am. But I felt like this book really kept me engaged, and I had to know what happened. So, I still have to get to the other two books because I have a feeling that Miss Lady Girl trip.
Yeah.
Her mom is a trip. I'm pretty sure I think she probably wilded out in the second book. I feel like it. So let me see. My question for the book is how did you keep a balance between the two main characters? Main characters are Nora and Warren. How did you keep a balance, keeping their storyline at the forefront with all the plot twists? Because it was a lot happening, but I feel like it wasn't confusing.
I kept a balance between the two. Well, I guess just, like I previously mentioned about how I outlined. I did have so one of the things that I do is I get a picture of an actor and I put it with whoever that character is, right? And for Warren, I had Lance Gross, and for Nora, I had, what's her name? Tika Sumner.
Okay.
Yeah, so I go based off of how the characters look, based off of their characteristics, who they are, why they are the way that they are, and also just remembering that Warren just came out of prison, so of course he's going to have he's gonna be upset. He's still gonna feel like he's still caged in. So I feel like that's how I was able to balance the two because of their different personalities. And
I kept I listened to the audio because this title is on audio, and I'm listening to the audio, and I was kind of surprised how he came out like day one. He was on it, like he was I want to get my revenge. Like, this is what we're going to do. I was kind of surprised by that, but I understood where he was coming from as well. But then at the end, when I'm not gonna spoil it. But at the end, when everything comes to light, and I'm like, yo, yeah, it's really good. I guess my question is, because I don't want to spoil it, but too much, but I will say it's a really good book. Get into it. So there's a book 2 and a book 3 of this series.
Yes.
What can readers expect for the whole series? Like, does the story come to a completion on book 3? Is that the final one, or do you leave it open?
Okay, so for throughout book 2 and 3, there's going to be 2 different antagonists in each book.
Oh, okay.
Yes, book 2, the antagonist, everybody is gonna be surprised who the antagonist is, but it makes sense as to why this person becomes the antagonist in book 2. I don't want to give none away. But in book 3, it does end. However, the way that I end it, if I wanted to, I could continue it through a different character. So most probably it would be Sage for me to continue the book with her, but the book 3 is the end of the whole Woods family era.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, and my last question about the series, book 1 I mentioned is on audio. Will the rest of the series, book 2 and book 3, be coming to audio?
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Yay. 2025, 2026. No, let me stop.
Now listen, child.
I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not going to hold you to it.
Let's
But
hope. I'm
your
hoping for
plan,
2025. Yes.
yeah, your plan is to get it to audio, and that'll be awesome. Okay, so the series is called Show You No Mercy, right?
Yes.
It's a Show You No Mercy series. So the books are available on Amazon. I'll go ahead and link it in the description box. Do you sell paperbacks on your site?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If you want a paperback, go to the author's site. Please go to the author's site first before you
please.
Go to the author's site for all your needs before you go to Amazon.
Yes.
So, like I said, I'll link all of Kim's information in the description box. And now I have a special treat that I've been so excited to bring on. I have brought on a narrator to give us an excerpt, a live excerpt of the first book, Show You No Mercy. So if you're thinking about reading it, you can get a taste of what it's going to be. I'm sorry, I didn't say your name. So I brought on Edwin, who I've had on the podcast a few times. If you've been watching my podcast, you've seen him more than once. I think he's an awesome narrator. And Edwin, are you able to tell us some of the books you have narrated?
First off, thank you very much for that lovely introduction.
You're welcome.
Secondly, I've narrated a number of thrillers by an author named Tanisha Stewart, including The Maintenance Man, Every Voice Ain't From God, The Student, December 21st, and Caught Up with the Rona, among others.
Caught Up with the coronavirus?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a zombie apocalypse thriller.
Ooh,
Gotcha. So I asked you to read an excerpt from Kim's book, Show You No Mercy, and you graciously agreed. So Kim, can you let us know what we're going to hear? And then Edwin, when you're ready, you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so what everyone is about to hear is the prologue for Show You No Mercy, Book 1.
Alrighty, whenever you're ready, Edwin.
All right. Hurry and open the safe, Nora yelled. Her brown eyes appeared cold and sharp as she stared at the man in front of her. She held her Glock 19 to his head as he put the code into his safe. Warren stood by the window and peeked through the blinds. He wiped the sweat dripping from under his ski mask and down to his neck. His hand shook as he gripped onto the 9mm handgun, holding his chest as his heart raced. Y'all clearly don't know who y'all messing with, Mickey ranted. Nora shoved the gun into the back of his head. Shut up and put the money in the bag, and I'll take those too. She pointed to the 10 bags of coke that sat in the corner of the safe. We need to go now, Warren pleaded. This was a bad idea. You better listen to your friend, Mickey laughed. He turned around and threw 2 bags in front of Warren and Nora's feet. He raised his hands as if they were the cops. Y'all won't even make it a block before my men get y'all. Warren's eyes widened. Let's just go, he said, trembling. Nora picked up one bag and gestured for Warren to pick up the other. You really think somebody's scared of you? You just got robbed, she laughed. Warren turned around swiftly at the sound of a soft voice calling Mickey Daddy. He blinked rapidly, trying to process what he was seeing. His heart raced as he attempted to hide his gun from the child. We can't do this. Nora glared at the little girl as she ran toward Mickey. Mickey hid his daughter behind him. Just take the shit and go. Don't do this in front of my daughter. I am warning you. He is right. Come on. What the hell are you doing? Warren questioned. Nora held her gun up and directed it at Mickey. If we don't handle this now, he will kill us. There's no walking away. He doesn't even know who we are, Warren pleaded. We don't have to do this. We got what we came for. Mickey gazed into Nora's sharp brown eyes. He laughed. Mercy. Mercy Cooper. I should have known you would come for me one day. Warren was confused. What is he talking about? Mickey continued. Warren, you could take the ski mask off. You were the only dumbass to go along with her plans. Weren't you awarded a scholarship to play sports at a Division I college? Nora and Warren removed their masks. Well, see, now we have to kill you, Nora insisted. She directed her gun at him. Knowing that there was only one way out of this situation, Warren followed her lead. Warren and Nora's fingers hovered over the trigger. Thank you.
That was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Edwin.
Awesome.
Damn, I was like, okay, what's next? That was so amazing. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful as always. As
Thank
always.
That was so good.
I told you, girl. I told you. But yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. All right. So for the last part of the podcast, we are going to play a game of urban trivia. If you've been watching my podcast, you know I do this with every guest I have on. And today we are going to play with Kim and Edwin. So the first to 3 points wins. I don't have a prize, but you win. I guess you'll have bragging rights. That's what you win. All right, so we're going to do first to 3 points. All right. Okay. First question. I'm going to go ladies first. Number one. First question. What's the most points Kobe Bryant scored in a single NBA game? Is it A, 65, B, 73, C, 81, or D, 99?
Damn, I don't know what's going on.
Let's take a good guess. Take a good guess.
Okay, read the options again.
65, 73, 81, or 99?
Okay, I'm gonna make it get 81.
It is 81.
Nice guess.
Good guess. That's 1 point. 1 point. Okay, Edwin. On the movie The Wood, what was Slim's real name? Was it A, Ladarius, B, Levante, C, Lavenio, D, Slim was his real name?
I'm not even going to try to front. It's been so long since I've seen parts of this movie. Can you read the questions again?
You're not using Google, are you?
I'm not. You would hear. See, I already anticipated you would ask me that. So, like, you would hear me. You hear that typing?
I can't hear a phone. I'm just saying. All right. Let me stop messing with you. I believe that you're being honest.
See, I'm being pressured, and now
seriously,
I don't know which answer is the.
Seriously, I believe you're being honest. Okay, the choices are Ladarius, Levante, Lavenio, or Slim was his real name.
Is it A?
Nope.
Dang.
It is Lavenio. Oh, I should have asked you, Kim, so you could steal that point.
Yeah. I didn't know either. So.
You didn't know? Okay. 1-0. Okay, Kim. What is the common mathematic practice when buying food stamps?
Okay.
Is it A, dollar for dollar, B, 50 cents on the dollar, C, 75 cents on the dollar, or D, I ain't never bought food stamps?
Is it a dollar for dollar?
It is not dollar for dollar.
What is it?
I'll give you a chance, Edwin. You know what
it
is?
50 cents.
It is 50 cents to a dollar.
Don't ask why I know that.
Okay, one to one.
Okay.
Okay. Black people call this disease. We're back on Edwin, right?
Yeah.
Black people call this disease the sugar.
Oh man, I shouldn't even laugh at that. But
Do I even have to give you the options?
no, you don't. It's diabetes.
It is diabetes. Edwin has 2.
Yes.
Okay. I just asked these questions. That's what I'm trying to get out of these. Okay. Kim, on the show Proud Family, who was the voice of Wizard Kelly? You ever watched the Proud Family?
I have.
Was it A, Aries Spears, B, Arsenio Hall, C, John Amos, or D, Cedric the Entertainer?
Which character you said now?
Which what?
Which character?
Wizard Kelly.
God damn it.
Aries Spears, Arsenio Hall, John Amos, or Cedric the Entertainer?
Oh my God, I'm not gonna get this right.
Just take a guess. Take a guess.
Say the options again.
Aries Spears, Arsenio Hall, John Amos, or Cedric the Entertainer? Excuse me.
Was it Cedric?
It wasn't.
Damn, what was it? Don't ask him because then he's gonna get the third point.
Let me mute myself again.
No, Edwin, do you want to take a guess?
I'll take a guess because I unfortunately didn't watch the Proud Family when it was airing. Proud Family, I want to say John Amos.
It is not John Amos.
Oh, dang.
It was Aries Spears.
Oh, that was my third guess.
Okay. All right. I don't know what all these are. These here. I'm just trying to get these out the way. All right. It's another Proud Family question. Let's.
Lord.
Oh gosh. Whose question is this?
I think it's mine.
It's his turn, yeah.
Okay. It's another question from the wood.
What?
It is.
Ask him.
Wow.
Okay, okay. According to Roland on the movie The Wood, what should you always remember when dealing with females? A, they're always right. B, suck, never chew. C, patience is a virtue. D, men pay all the bills.
Completely guessing. I want to say patience is a virtue.
It is
Dang, wow, okay.
All right,
it's
Kim.
Never true.
Never true. Never true.
That is, oh wow.
It is.
Clearly, I didn't get that nugget of advice. I don't know what that says about me, but.
Okay, it's 2-2, so whoever gets the next point. All right. I have to get another game because I have asked all these questions. It looks like almost all these questions. So Kim, for the winning point, I'm gonna need you to get this because I need you to win. You to win. What?
Ignoring the bias here, it's fine.
I just need her to win. Which NBA team did Mark? No, let me finish. Okay. Which NBA team did Mark Cooper play for on the sitcom Hanging with Mr. Cooper? You ever watch Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
No.
Oh,
No.
Classic show.
I'm going to need you to guess. I need you to give me a good guess. Okay, is it A, Seattle Supersonics, B, Phoenix Suns, C, Golden State Warriors, or D, LA Lakers?
Can you read the options again?
Seattle Supersonics, Phoenix Suns, Golden State Warriors, or LA Lakers?
All right, I'll just guess. A, is it Seattle?
It isn't.
No.
Okay. Edwin, you know it?
It's been a minute since I've seen that show when I just mentioned it's a classic, but I'm going to guess based on what I think was the setting is Golden State Warriors.
It is Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, because wasn't the show like out in the Bay Area? It was set.
Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna have to go watch that show.
Yeah, man.
It is. It's a good show.
Didn't En Vogue do the theme song too?
Yep, they did. En Vogue did the theme song. All right, so that was the last question. I don't know who won that one, but that was the last question.
Oh wow! Wow!
I don't know. I was keeping track, and then I lost track. So it was just a good game.
Wow!
It was a good game.
Wow! All right, that's what's up.
All right, Edwin won. He won fair and square this time.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
You did. You won fair and square this time. All right. So we are now at the end of the podcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in and joining. Get the series Show You No Mercy by author Kimberly Powell. Is there anything you would like to say, Kim, before we close out?
Well, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have already read my books or who have read at least one of them. I definitely appreciate it. The support is amazing and I feel loved. So thank you all so much. And thank you too for having me on your podcast. And thank you, Edwin. That was an amazing read. We're going to have to link up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. And thank you again, Edwin, for coming on the podcast and being available when I hit you up. I greatly appreciate it. So,
yeah, not a problem at all. Thank you for having me. Sincerely, the undisputed champion of urban trivia.
I'm editing that out. No, I'm gonna keep that in. All right, y'all. So this is the end of the podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining, and we will see y'all on the next one.
I just want to get a fan because I'm hot.
Look. Okay, here we go.
Oh, my dog is barking. I just want to make her stop. Hold on 1 second.
Thank you, Sir Edwin, for joining.
Hey, hold on. I can't hear you.
You can't hear? Oh, wait.
Are you muted?
I'm not muted. You can't hear me?
Not muted.
But you hear you.
No wonder.
You playing? You know what? Stop playing with me. I have this thing right next to me, and I'm just like, when I'm recording, I'm like scared that it's gonna pick up on the microphone, but I'm like, look, I don't care because it is hot.